Hello, everyone. Today, our presentation is about how to read and write journal articles. So, first off, we will speak about the importance of academic articles and the challenges of reading academic articles, and we'll have an overview of our presentation. So, academic articles are the source of evidence, and in clinical practice, everyone is looking for the most up-to-date evidence in whatever topic to provide the best care possible for our patients. So, to be up to date, you have to keep up with the evidence because every day there are new studies published, and to cope with the changes happening around us, we need to read. The challenges of reading academic articles is in many times a lot of clinicians are usually focusing on the practice, right? So they practice the day-to-day activities without having that much time allocated for reading. The other challenge is how to go about reading academic articles because not everyone during the undergrad studies they had been through uh, reading journals or participating in journal clubs or research or publishing and all of that. And that's why in many times everyone is skeptical whenever they have CME, they have to present an article. So in this presentation, I'm trying to simplify reading academic articles, and in future presentation we'll talk about writing, and we will discuss further details in each part of the academic article. So basically this presentation for the component of academic article and how to read it. So the structure of an academic article is basically the same. The variation usually comes from the publishing journal. So some journals have certain requirements for their articles they publish, but the components are almost the same. Any academic article need to have an abstract, which is a summary of the article. It will give the main points discussed in that article. So it will have actually the same component of the academic article, just in short. And you can say it's a brief article. So usually it's the last part of the paper to be written, but it's the first part to be read. So if you are searching for a topic in the database, you find the title matching what you are searching for. The second step, you will go and read the abstract because it's usually less than one page. It will give you introduction about the topic of the article. It will give you the methodology used in that research and the main findings or the main results and outcomes of that research, and will give you one line or two for the conclusion. So by reading the abstract, you will understand is this article is a good fit for what I am looking for, or no, because sometimes the title of the article will be attractive and sometimes matching your search. But when you read the abstract, you will see that it's away from the area of your focus. So the abstract actually is the main piece of any academic article, and it gives you clues about what this paper is about. So immediately after the abstract, we'll have the introduction slash background, because sometimes you'll find it named as background. It's the same, and it's usually provides context and the states that research is questioning. Like, what is the research question for this paper? But before stating the research question, it will give you a background about what had been done in this topic and what had been published before this research to set the stage for the current paper. So the introduction also is a valuable piece of any academic article, because even you as a reader, if you don't have enough knowledge about all the aspects of that topic you are searching, it will give you a lot of references, and it will give you like summary about the findings of previous research. And it's usually a source of references that you don't find from your primary search in the database. Say, for example, you are reading about, say, tuberculosis and tuberculosis treatment, for example, and you will find in the introduction all the protocols, all the previous paper published about a certain medication with the side effects, with the interactions, with whatever aspects that might impact your research finding and your knowledge in that area. So the introduction is usually a rich source for previous research, background about the topic, and it will give you references that you might need in your topic of interest. So when you read the academic article, you focus on the information of the introduction and try to review the references from where this information came. Because in the introduction, you will find each piece of information referenced. So you go and check that reference. Maybe you will find further information about that specific piece of knowledge. So after the introduction, you will find the methodology. And in this part, the writers will explain what methods they use to conduct their research. So usually, if you are a clinician and you are interested in the findings and the conclusions of the research, you don't need to go in depth reading the methodology unless you are looking for certain types of studies. And we will have another presentation about the types of studies, the methodologies, like quantitative studies, qualitative studies, the different types of each. And usually the researchers, the scientists, these are the people who focus more in the methodology. But for practice, and if the aim of you as a clinician is to read and get the information about the topic, you don't need to focus a lot in the methodology. You will go to the results, and here details about the findings will be there. Usually it's supported by graphs, tables, whatever visual aid modalities. It's usually the details of the findings of this current research. So you need to be mindful about what you are looking for, because sometimes the results section will be very comprehensive and detailed. And this is where most of the readers get confused, because it has statistical terms, it has variables in details, it has some graphs, sometimes not easy for everyone to read. So you don't need to go in depth about every single piece of the results. You can jump in directly to the discussion section, because basically the discussion section will give you the author's input about the research finding in comparison to the previous research, which we discussed in the introduction, and give you the cream of the cream about this subject. So if you would like to be concise in your reading, you can directly go to the discussion section, and there you will find conclusions of the results in relation to the existing literature. So this is one ways of making reading academic articles easier. After skimming the abstract, reading through the introduction, you can go ahead right away to the discussion part. And believe me, you are not missing anything unless you are presenting a paper or you are trying to show some statistical data. Yes, here you need to focus more in the results section. After that, you will find the conclusion of the article, and it's usually piece of cake. So the conclusion will give you the short outcome of that research. And usually, if you just need to take the information on the go, you just read the abstract and jump to the conclusion. So the reference section is all the references had been used by the authors in that research, and it's very good source for your topic of interest. Like there is one technique called snowballing, where you're while you are looking for a topic in the search, like any database, you find some articles, but also in each article, you go to the reference section, sometimes called the bibliography. You go to that section and find further articles or papers on that topic. So these are the components. As I said, the abstract is the first part, and this is the title of the paper. And this is actually a paper I published 2 years ago. And in the abstract, maybe it's tiny here, but I wanted to show you how short is the abstract. And it has all the objectives, the methods used, the results, the discussion in brief, and the conclusion. So it's a concise paper in less than 1 page. And so, as I said in the background, the literature review will be in details, the research question will be stated, and usually it's comprehensive and it has all the literature review done by the authors before starting their own research. The methods, as we mentioned, it's a study design. According to the study design, the authors will explain the methodology, how they collect their data, what was the sample size, what are the ways they use to recruit participants, and what method they use for sampling, and what are the validity and reliability of their method. So as I said, this part is mostly for scientists, statisticians, and less important for clinicians. In the results, as we said, we will see the details of the finding, descriptive statistics, talking about the mean, the mode, the median, the standard deviation, the p-value, whatever, and inferential statistics, like what specific statistical test had been done. I mean, it's details. No need to go in depth unless you need to take the information and compare it to other studies to check the validity of the results. We will also try to discuss this in a separate discussion, the statistics that we need to read articles. Maybe the tables and figures are the most helpful part because by taking a look, you might observe the trends, like in comparison of what parameters or variables are used in the study. So for some people, tables and graphs are more helpful to understand the results. And it will end by conclusion about the key findings of the research, whether the findings are positive in favor of the research question or negative. And as I said, the discussion include the author's insight with the background and the previous literature in that topic. So I would say the discussion section is an important part to understand the article, and it will give you that comparison, and it will give you that concise result findings. And around the end of the discussion section, the authors usually write what were the limitations of their study, and they will give you one line or two about suggestions for future research, because you cannot cover everything in one research article, right? So they usually the researcher focus in one area, but they will conclude their research by giving some advice for future research, because this helps whoever is reading and interested in the topic, might open doors for ideas needed in this area. The conclusion is the final part that you will decide whether this research article is yes, my article that I'm looking for, or no, this conclusion is not answering my question in the first place. So it's a recap for the finding. It's usually short. It gives the findings with the future direction, everything you will find in the conclusion. So for the references and the bibliography, there is usually one type of citation or another. So there are many styles for citation or references. If you are interested, I will also make a presentation about the commonly used citation styles, like the APA, the MLA, the Chicago, the Harvard style, whatever. But it's also not important for clinicians to go in depth and see how this reference list is made. The idea is each reference will include the authors, starting from the primary authors and the other participants in that research, and it will give you the title of the research paper, of course. It will give you the publication date and the publisher, whether it's in a journal, in a website, whatever. So you will find all the information. I know it sometimes look complicated for a regular person going through the references, so that's why I'm doing these presentations, to try to make it easy for everyone to understand at least how these things are usually made and how to go about them reading and getting the benefit of it. And that concludes our presentation for today. Thank you.